The glow of the Christmas tree bathed the living room, a warm, festive light. As the snow fell gently outside, I settled into the couch, controller in hand, ready to explore the virtual wonders of the newly released Christmas edition video game. The digital fireplace crackled on the screen, and the sounds of holiday cheer filled the room. My 2-year-old son, immersed in an animated wonderland of his own, sat captivated by the flickering images on the television. With my wife away visiting family for the holidays, it fell upon me to create a semblance of Christmas magic for our little one. The clock struck 1 a.m., and I hesitated for a moment, considering whether my son should be up so late. However, his joyous laughter and exclamations convinced me to let the festivities continue. With the game controller in hand, I embraced the role of both gamer and guardian, allowing my son to stay up a little later to soak in the holiday spirit. As the virtual snowfall painted a serene backdrop on the screen, my son's voice rang out from the adjacent room. "Santa. Santa," I chuckled, assuming he must have spotted Santa in whatever children's show was playing. The innocence in his excitement brought a smile to my face. A sense of warmth enveloped me, imagining my wife returning home early to surprise our son with a visit from Santa. However, a whisper of doubt lingered in my mind. Why would she return at 1 a.m. without informing me? Dismissing the notion, I returned to my game, the virtual festivities a comforting backdrop to the snowy night. My son's voice echoed through the hallway again, louder and more excited this time. "Santa, Daddy." Santa, intrigued and wanting to share in his delight. I decided to investigate. Perhaps my wife had indeed orchestrated a surprise visit from Santa. I tiptoed to my son's room, the anticipation building with each step. The hallway stretched before me, the muted glow of Christmas lights casting elongated shadows. As I reached the doorway, my son's eyes were fixed on the fireplace, his tiny fingers pointing toward the chimney. "Santa, Daddy, look," he exclaimed, his face illuminated by the soft glow of the room. I followed his gaze, expecting to see the jolly old man himself. Instead, my eyes widened in disbelief at the sight before me. Legs, clad in red velvet, dangled from the chimney into the fireplace. Panic seized me as I comprehended the intrusion into our home. In a moment of adrenaline-fueled terror, I shouted, and the intruder recoiled, scrambling back up the chimney. I rushed to secure the house, ensuring every door and window was locked. The festive ambience that had filled the room moments ago felt like a haunting symphony of danger. With my son safely tucked away in a secure room, I dialed 911, recounting the surreal events unfolding on this Christmas night. The dispatcher assured me that help was on the way, but anxiety clung to me like a relentless shadow. The police arrived swiftly, their flashlights cutting through the darkness as they searched the house. Every creak and shuffle heightened our collective tension, but the intruder remained elusive. The only traces left behind were faint footprints on the roof, obscured by the fresh layer of snow. As the officers departed, I found myself alone in the aftermath of a disrupted Christmas celebration. The tree lights flickered in a muted glow, casting haunting shadows on the walls. I checked on my son, blissfully unaware of the threat that had lurked just beyond the fireplace. The morning light revealed a world transformed by the events of the night. Footprints on the roof traced a path into the distance, vanishing into the road covered in snow. The police suggested that the intruder might have fled upon hearing the approaching sirens, leaving us with unanswered questions. When my wife returned later that day, the festive reunion was tinged with the somber reality that awaited her. The joy of Christmas had been shattered, replaced by a lingering sense of vulnerability. The threat, though gone, left an intangible residue, a stain on the holiday season that persisted in the years to come. As we gathered as a family on that Christmas evening, a silent agreement hung in the air. We would cherish the moments of togetherness, yet the memory of that silent intruder would forever cast a shadow over our festive celebrations, a chilling reminder that danger could intrude even on the most joyous of nights. Christmas was always a special time for my family. We'd gather round the fireplace, exchange gifts, and share laughter. But over the years, a creeping sense of unease began to overshadow our festive celebrations, a red-clad figure haunting the periphery of our holiday joy. It all started innocently enough. About 5 Christmases ago, I caught a glimpse of someone standing across the street, obscured by the soft glow of streetlights. A red coat and hat made them stand out against the winter night. At first, I dismissed it as a passerby or maybe a neighbor enjoying the crisp air. Little did I know, this was the beginning of a bizarre and unsettling tradition. As the years went by, the figure returned each Christmas, like an eerie advent calendar, counting down to something unknown. They'd stand at a distance, just beyond the reach of our well-lit front yard, their red silhouette barely visible against the darkness. The second Christmas, the figure seemed a bit closer. Still, I brushed it off, convincing myself it was just a neighbor or perhaps someone lost in thought. Yet, the unease lingered. By the third Christmas, the red stalker had moved closer to our property line. Their silent vigil became an ominous backdrop to our holiday festivities. I mentioned it to my family, but they dismissed it as paranoia, blaming my overactive imagination for spoiling the festive spirit. It wasn't until the fourth Christmas that the unease turned into genuine concern. The red-clad watcher now loitered near our doorstep. They never ventured onto our property, maintaining a careful distance, but their presence was impossible to ignore. It was as if they were studying us, waiting for something. Last Christmas, the situation escalated. The figure, now identified as the Crimson Watcher by my family, seemed almost daring. They stood at the edge of our yard, a mere whisper away from our holiday decorations. The police were called, but by the time they arrived, the Watcher had melted into the night. This year, with the approach of another Christmas, a tangible tension settled over our household. The tree lights flickered a little less brightly, and the laughter felt forced. We couldn't escape the anticipation of the red stalker's return. On Christmas Eve, as our family huddled around the fire, the unease reached its peak. I couldn't shake the feeling that tonight would be different, that the Watcher would breach the invisible barrier that separated us. The clock struck midnight, and we exchanged nervous glances. That's when I noticed a faint jingling sound, like distant sleigh bells dancing on the chilly wind. My heart raced as I moved to the window, drawn to the winter night outside. There they were, the crimson figure standing beneath the street lamp, closer than ever before. This time, they weren't merely observing. They were watching with intent. I could feel their eyes on me, an unsettling gaze that penetrated the festive facade. With a surge of determination, I stepped outside, the cold air hitting my face. I needed to confront this mysterious figure, put an end to the years of silent torment. "Who are you?" I called out, my voice echoing in the still night. The Watcher remained silent, their features hidden beneath the brim of the red hat. I took a step closer, my breath forming clouds in the frigid air. "Enough of this. What do you want?" I demanded, my frustration overcoming the fear that had gripped me for so long. As if in response, the Watcher raised their head, revealing a face that sent chills down my spine. It was a face I recognized, a face that mirrored my own. The face of a man pushed to the brink, haunted by the relentless pursuit of an unknown tormentor. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. The stalker in red was me, or rather, a distorted reflection of my own inner demons. This was a manifestation of the fears and anxieties that had plagued me each Christmas, an eerie reminder that sometimes the scariest things are the ones we carry within ourselves. As I stood there, face to face with my own reflection, the Watcher in red slowly retreated into the shadows. The jingling sleigh bells faded away, leaving behind a quiet and introspective Christmas night. It was a bizarre revelation, and one that would undoubtedly take time to process. But as I rejoined my family by the fire, a newfound sense of understanding settled over me. Perhaps the stalker in red wasn't an external threat, but a manifestation of the internal struggles we all face during the holiday season. With that realization, the tension lifted, and the magic of Christmas found its way back into our home. The unease dissipated, replaced by a sense of unity and understanding. As we exchanged gifts and shared laughter once more, I couldn't help but wonder if, in confronting the stalker in red, we had also confronted the fears that had cast a shadow over our holidays for so many years. The winter chill settled over our small town, casting a quiet hush as Christmas approached. In our cozy home, adorned with festive decorations, my family and I eagerly anticipated the joyous season. Little did we know that our holidays would take a sinister turn, haunted by the presence of a silent stalker. It all began innocently enough. A small package appeared on our doorstep on Christmas morning. Excitement tinged with curiosity filled the air as we unwrapped the neatly wrapped box. Inside, we found a photograph, a picture of our home. At first, it seemed like a charming gesture, a quaint snapshot capturing the holiday spirit. As the years passed, the mysterious deliveries continued, each Christmas bringing a new photograph. At first, the images were benign, our home adorned with twinkling lights and festive wreaths. However, the tone shifted as the stalker's obsession intensified. The angles became more intrusive, capturing glimpses into our private lives that sent shivers down our spines. The photos revealed our most intimate moments, family dinners, children playing in the yard, even scenes from within the house. It was as if an unseen eye documented our lives with unsettling precision. The cheerful fold of the holidays began to crack, replaced by a growing sense of unease. We grappled with the question of who could be behind this invasion of our privacy. Was it a disgruntled neighbor? A distant acquaintance with a vendetta? The police were called, but without clear evidence of malicious intent, they could do little to help. As the photos became more disturbing, tension mounted within our home. The stalker's presence felt like a malevolent specter, a shadow that lurked just beyond our field of vision. Our once merry Christmas celebrations turned into strained gatherings, marred by the knowledge that someone out there watched our every move. One fateful Christmas, the culmination of years of silent stalking reached its zenith. The photo left at our doorstep was not of our home, but of our living room, taken from within. Panic set in as we realized the stalker had breached the sanctity of our personal space. Fear gripped us as we searched the house for signs of an intruder. Each creak of the floorboards and rustle of the curtains sent shivers down our spines. In the dead of night, a confrontation unfolded, the tense silence, broken by whispered accusations and desperate pleas for the unseen menace to reveal themselves. Yet, the stalker remained elusive, leaving only the haunting echo of their violation. We took measures to fortify our home, installing security cameras and reinforcing locks, but the damage was done. The trust that once bound our family together had been fractured, replaced by a lingering sense of vulnerability. The silent stalker became a haunting presence, an unseen force that cast a perpetual shadow over our holidays. The festive season, once a time of joy and togetherness, now carried the weight of uncertainty. As we gathered around the Christmas tree, exchanging strained smiles, the unspoken question lingered in the air: would the silent stalker return to shatter our fragile peace once more?